What's going on, guys? It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. So I'm going over the Week 5 Thursday Night Football matchup between the Chicago Bears and Washington Commanders. I'll be going position by position and sort of telling you guys what I think you guys should expect out of each player and sort of going over which players I think are worth being in your starting lineups. It should be hopefully at least a sort of high-scoring game. Obviously, the two teams aren't fantastic, although the Commanders might be a fringe playoff team this season, but we know how bad the Bears are. So not the best matchup on paper, but I think we could see a lot of points in this one with just how mediocre to bad the defenses are. So it could be a pretty fun game. As always, if you guys have any specific start-sit questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I love interacting with you guys there. A lot of fun. Really appreciate all the outreach and just love interacting with you guys so much. On top of that, friendly reminders that I'll put out every single week. If you have a player playing in Thursday Night Football, make sure you don't play them in your flex spot. Put them into the starting running back or starting wide receiver slot. Give yourself that flexibility for later on in the week in case you have an injury pop up or something like that. So, yeah, with that being said, should be a pretty fun game. Hopefully, we get some more points, get a higher scoring game, a more competitive game that we had last week between the Lions and Packers, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So, yeah, with that, let's just get into the quarterbacks here. Starting us off at the quarterback position, I'll start us off with Justin Fields. I think you can use him as a streaming option. I think if you've been starting him so far this season, I don't see any real reason to go away from him in this matchup. The Commanders aren't exactly scary. Although the fact of the matter is, I do feel pretty strongly that Week 4 was going to be the fluke and not the trend that we'll see going forward with Justin Fields. Weeks 1 through 3 seem to be more prescriptive for what we're going to expect to see. The Bears are still not designing run plays for him. He only had 4 rush attempts in Week 4, and he still just really sucks as a passer. The Broncos are arguably the worst defense in the NFL, if not one of the worst defenses over the past decade or two. So the Broncos have been really bad so far this season. It's not a great sign that we only saw Justin Fields take advantage of what should be the best matchup in the NFL. The fact of the matter is, though, you could say that, okay, that's nice. Justin Fields at least did perform well against a bad defense. We saw Joe Burrow fail to do that against the Tennessee Titans last week. So it is a positive sign that we saw him take advantage of the plus matchup, but it's just not something that I'm super confident in. The Commanders have the sixth highest pressure rate in the NFL. We know how bad Justin Fields is against pressure, and I think this could be a tougher matchup for him, but you could do worse than playing Justin Fields. For Sam Howell and the Commanders, I think Sam Howell is also a decent streaming option this week. Outside of the Denver Broncos, the Chicago Bears are probably the next worst defense in the NFL. Sam Howell should be in line to be able to take advantage of that. I do think that in general, though, you do run a bit of a risk with the Commanders just getting up early and getting out to a pretty sizable lead and just leaning on Brian Robinson. So if they get out to a 14, 21 nothing lead pretty early and it ends up being a couple of rushing touchdowns to get in there, you could be in a spot where you have Sam Howell putting up 200 passing yards and 0 passing touchdowns just because they don't need to air it out. And that is a concern, but I think that you could do a little bit worse than Sam Howell. He's like a fringe top 12 guy for me, especially if you got either Justin Herbert or Geno Smith or maybe Deshaun Watson, one of these quarterbacks that's on bye. I think you could definitely consider playing Sam Howell as a streaming option this week. Out of the two between Justin Fields and Sam Howell, I do think I would lean towards Justin Fields just a little bit. The ceiling's a lot higher, and I do think they'll probably be in a negative game script and at least have to try and come back. But Sam Howell does like the safer play if you just need 15 to 20 fantasy points. Starting us off for the running backs, I'll start us off with Khalil Herbert here. I think he's going to be like a low end running back 2 for me. I think he can probably be in your lineups with just how bad the running back position is on top of how many running backs we have on bye. We've obviously got Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, Jerome Ford's on bye as well. Plenty of running backs that aren't available for us this week, so I think you could potentially put Khalil Herbert in your lineup, although it's not something that I'm super excited about. I think the fear for me here is that Khalil Herbert's going to end up being a game script dependent running back, and that really is what we've seen. He's been relatively uninvolved the first 3 weeks of the season. Then we saw his snap rate jump by over 20% in this last matchup. He played 78% of the snaps, and that's super exciting. And for a player, we do want to see that kind of usage out of Khalil Herbert, and it's nice to know that he can get that workload if they do find themselves in a position where they're winning. But I don't know how many games the Bears are going to be up in very often this season. They'll probably be a team that ends up winning 2 or 3 games over the course of the season. This is technically a winnable matchup for the Bears, but it's not one that I'm going to expect them to win. They're supposed to lose by 6 points according to Vegas right now. I would personally expect the Commanders to win by even more than that. So it's not something that I'm super excited about. You're probably hoping Khalil Herbert scores a touchdown to pay off at his projection and really get you a solid outing. So I don't really want to count on that, but with how bad the running back position is, you could certainly play Khalil Herbert. Just expect to be disappointed unless he falls in the end zone. Next up, we've got Roschon Johnson. He's a deeper league flex play for me. I think he's a guy that you could start if you really needed to, but it's certainly not something that I'm excited about. It's pretty much the opposite end of Khalil Herbert. You're betting that the Bears find themselves down early in this game and end up having to air it out. You maybe hope that he catches 5, 6 passes, and that could happen. Roschon Johnson is a talented pass catcher, but it's just a little bit concerning. He's not someone that I'd be excited about at all. But if you're in a super deep league, and especially in a PPR format, you could technically play Roschon Johnson. For the Commanders, super excited about Brian Robinson this week. He's going to be a running back one for me this week. I think he's got a real great shot at getting 20-plus touches. I won't be shocked if he scores twice in this one. The Bears are one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. You've got the Commanders being basically touchdown home favorites. Certainly a really exciting position for Brian Robinson to be in, and he's been really good so far. He's the running back 8 on the season. He's looked good. He's clearly the number 1 running back in this backfield, and someone that really could see a positive game script work in his favor here. So definitely start Brian Robinson. And then Antonio Gibson, you just got to keep him on your bench. He's not looked very involved in this offense. He hasn't looked great either, and I just don't think you can trust him. You can even drop him if you really want to. Next up, we've got the wide receivers here, and I'll start us off with the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore, I think, is going to be a low-end wide receiver 2 for us. He's been really great so far for the last 3 weeks. He's posted several really high-end performances, and the Commanders are a really decent matchup. I do think that DJ Moore over the course of the season will regress and not be as good as he's been so far, but the matchup's really great here. I'll stay in the flames with him. DJ Moore's probably got to be in starting lineups. For the Commanders, Terry McLaurin, I think he's a wide receiver 2 for me. We're seeing him slowly get his target share ramped up. He had a 26% target share last week, and it's really great to see his target share trend up over the last 4 weeks. If you don't remember, he came into the season really injured. He got hurt with that turf toe injury in the preseason. A lot of us were skeptical about whether or not he'd even play week 1. So sort of seeing him ramp up to health has been really encouraging. He's in a really fantastic matchup here against the Bears as well. He's definitely got to be in your starting lineups. Jahan Dotson would be like a low-end flex play for me. I'm not really confident in him, but he did have 9 targets last week. He did get banged up with an injury. He's dealing with an ankle injury. I think he's going to play in this one, but it's just not someone that I'm super confident in. If you're in like a really deep league or have a lot of players injured or on bye, you could play Jahan Dotson, but it's not something that I'm excited about. Curtis Samuel, sort of the same thing, even a lower tier flex play. They will manufacture some touches for him, but he's just a really desperate flex play. I don't think he's someone that I'd be confident in at all. And then I mentioned every single other wide receiver in this game. I'm not going to play De'Ami Brown or anything like that. I'm not going to play Darnell Mooney. I'm not going to play Chase Claypool if he plays. Although it sounds like he's not going to be active for this game either. But I think those are the only 4 wide receivers you could really consider. And really the only 2 I think you should be starting are DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin. And finally, we've got the tight ends here. Cole Kmet's going to be a low-end tight end 1 for me. I believe he's the tight end 4 on the season after putting up a 2-touchdown performance so far in week 3 or week 4. Really funny how tight ends work. It's really just been a desperate, really brutal position so far. I think we have yet to see a tight end eclipse 100 yards in a game. Obviously, that means touchdowns are going to be the thing that really puts you in a positive light so far for fantasy. The fact of the matter is, though, I think that Cole Kmet's 2 touchdowns are not going to be something that's sticky. It's nice to know that he's a player that can do that, but I just don't buy it going forward. Justin Fields probably won't throw for 2 touchdowns very often, even alone in a game, and not very often are all of those touchdowns going to go to Cole Kmet. So he's not a guy that I'd be confident in, but it is a decent matchup. Actually, it's really not a decent matchup. The Washington Commanders give up 3.7 points per game to the opposing tight end. Really sort of just a desperation tight end 1 for me, not someone that I'd be confident starting. For the Commanders, Logan Thomas, he's fully healthy now, and he's been really involved for this offense, and I really think you can use him as a streaming option. I would prefer him to Cole Kmet. The Bears are a really bad matchup, or a really good matchup for opposing tight ends. They give up a lot of points to the tight end position. The Commanders continue to utilize the tight end position in their offense, and Logan Thomas has been utilized near the goal line quite a bit as well. So I think Logan Thomas would be my start over Cole Kmet, but neither one of them needs to be in the starting lineups, and I'd be perfectly happy benching both of them. So that'll do it for the Thursday Night Football primer video. If you guys had any players that I, for whatever reason, missed and didn't mention, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm happy to give you guys my opinions on those players. If you guys have any specific start questions, especially pertaining to players in this game, let me know. I'm happy to help you guys get your lineup set and help you guys get all set and ready to roll for Week 5. So super exciting. We're over a quarter of the way through the NFL season. I hope you guys' fantasy teams are doing well, and even if they're not, I think we can get plenty of time to turn them around. So I'll be here all season long, putting out 4 videos a week, doing my waiver video, my trade videos, my Thursday night primer, and my start sit video, along with a Sunday morning live stream more often than not. So I'll be here putting out plenty of content all season long, and several videos throughout the course of the off season when we get there as well. So if you want to make sure you get access to all of that, all you've got to do is subscribe to the channel. That way I can be here all season long to help you guys dominate your friends and win your fantasy league. So it's been a lot of fun making all these videos. I really appreciate all the support, and if you want to support the channel on top of that, please do just give this video a thumbs up as well. It really helps with the algorithm, helps me know that I'm doing a good job, and helps me that you guys want to see more content like this. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.